What? You've got me going.
Yeah.
Oh. So I'm live.
You are.
I'm so sorry, everyone, for the delay here with our technical issues. My name is Madeleine D'Arcy, and I'm going to read a story for you from my collection, Waiting for the Bullet, published by Dura Press. I hope you're all keeping well. Thank you to Roz and Simon for setting up the holding cell. I've chosen this story because it's got a bit of humour in it. It's about a birth and some mishaps, and I hope you enjoy it. It's called The Fox and the Placenta. Marilyn sighs. I used to be such a fun-time girl. Unlike Monroe, this Marilyn is not a blonde. Her hair is russet red and curly, and right now her fun-time girl self is hampered by the fact that she's 9 months pregnant. She's sitting Humpty Dumpty style on a green corduroy beanbag, watching Richard and Judy on the telly. I'm going out to get a better hose for the birthing pool, says Brendan in his soft Derry accent. Will I get you a wee cake or something while I'm out? Yes, please, says Marilyn. Her sweet tooth has gone demented since the second trimester. Can I have some Clarnico iced caramels? You know the ones I mean? They're pink and white with toffee inside? I think so. If you see any, will you buy me a packet? I will. Now ring me if you get a twinge. I'll come straight back. Okay. I hope I won't have any more of those fake ones, though. All pain, no gain. I'm fed up with them. What are they called again? Braxton Hicks, she says. Top marks. He's read Miriam, what's-her-name's parent and child book from cover to cover, as if fatherhood is some kind of weird A-level, as if he's definitely the father. She's told him there's a chance he's not. He seems so sure it's his, though. I think I'll go to bed for a while, she says. I just can't get comfortable on this. It's a huge struggle to half roll, half grapple her way out of the beanbag and onto her hands and knees. From this position, she grabs the top rail of the birthing pool and hauls herself upright. Is this pool supposed to be full? She says. No, I'll empty it before I go. I was just assessing the time it took to fill. Thanks so much, Brendan. I really appreciate it. Gosh, I'm exhausted. Those bleeding foxes were howling again last night, and between them and this, she indicates her huge frontal bump, I didn't get a wink of sleep. She shoves her feet into her Birkenstocks and makes a slow journey to the bedroom. A pair of red patent high-heeled shoes from the January sales sit unworn on the shelf. She looks at them sadly before hauling herself onto the bed. 9 months ago, everything was different. Brendan was just her friend, not a bit like her ex-boyfriend, Sam, the love rat. As her friend Laura pointed out, Sam was mean and egotistical, and Marilyn is better off without him. Brendan's much nicer, said Laura. He's mad about you, but you can't resist bastards, that's your problem. I'm not stupid, protested Marilyn. I know Brendan's great. I've always loved him, as a friend, I mean. Admit it, you can't allow yourself to fall for him because he's such a nice bloke. It's just, he's not a hunter, forager, gatherer, you Tarzan, me Jane geezer, is he? You'll never learn, sighed Laura. 9 months ago, Marilyn was at a loose end, still mourning the end of her relationship with Sam, when she found herself crying on Brendan's shoulder after an alcohol-fueled night out. Every cliché in the book applies to the situation that followed. Herself a mess, Brendan declaring himself to be in love with her, throes of drunken passion, then waking with a fearsome hangover on a grey January morning, trying to remember what had happened. And Brendan lying there beside her in bed like a fond dog. He, of course, remembered everything. "I'll phone you later," said Brendan happily at about midday. "I've got to do some work, but I'll ring you at 6, okay?" Sam called around that lunchtime to say he'd made a terrible mistake. Marilyn was only just out of the shower. As she pointed out to Laura afterwards, it's all very entertaining on TV, but not when it happens to you. "I was vulnerable," she said. "You'd be surprised how confusing things can be, especially when you have that hangover lust going on." When Sam left, having rid himself of 10cc, the sperm, not the 80s band, she knew she'd made a terrible mistake. At 6 p.m. sharp, the phone rang. "Hi," Brendan spoke shyly. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, why wouldn't I be? Would you like to come out for dinner tonight?" Well, she thought for a moment. "Dinner? Where?" "Well, I've booked Le Petit Prince. It's a new French Moroccan place." "Oh, but I can book somewhere else, whatever you like." "Oh no, that's fine. What time?" He arrived with flowers and paid for dinner, though she earned as much money as he did, if not more, and suggested more than once they should go Dutch. Good old Brendan. She wished she'd never been taken in that last time by Sam. Marilyn lies back, bolstered by every pillow in the house, eyes closed, listening to the soothing music of deep forest. She feels like an overblown balloon ready to explode. She breathes in and out just like the yoga teacher at the Natural Centre for Birth and Rebirthing has taught her. She tries to soften each part of her body from the tips of her fingers and the top of her scalp, right down to the soles of her feet. The corpse pose, it's called. Not such a nice thought. When you're pregnant, you want everything to be fertile and alive, not dead. There's a name for it too. Sumatra, something like that. No, Sumatra's a volcano, isn't it? The corpse pose. Funny the way she's practically devouring murder mysteries while waiting for the baby. Weird that. Sam would have scorned such lowly literature. Sam's lying low for a while. His reaction to the little problem she's given him has not been great. The mystery of the double dads. Nothing like this happens in Agatha Christie books. Dead bodies in libraries. Caribbean mysteries. A dog begins to bark outside. Maybe it's one of the foxes, but the foxes usually emerge only at dusk, and their bark is almost a whine. Long, rangy, dog-like beasts, they're more like wolves than foxes. More barking. She's determined to relax. "I'm going to sodding relax if it kills me." But she's distracted. Brendan has a cute face, like a friendly terrier. Sam is a wilder fox type, tough, skinny, cynical. Behind the Victorian houses that form the lines of the Haringey ladder, the foxes look more grey than red as they slouch in the shadows between street lamps. They're red foxes nonetheless. Mr. Singh from number 5 has told her there are no grey foxes in England, that grey foxes live in North America. Maybe the London foxes have crossbred with stray dogs. Now there are hordes of them, packs that come out when daylight turns to night. They roam through back gardens, foraging in people's dustbins, skulking near the kebab shop on green lanes, making forays on greaseproof paper packages, licking polystyrene trays outside the chipper. In her darkest nights, Marilyn dreams of werewolves leaping for her throat, but most of the time she dreams of nothing. Now she hears the key clicking in the front door. Someone shuffles in. There's the flapping of paper bags and footsteps going back in the direction of the kitchen. She fancies a cup of tea, but it takes a while to maneuver herself outside of bed. She stands up eventually and makes her way slowly downstairs. Brendan's put the kettle on. Hi, he says. How are you feeling? All right. Bored. Will I make tea? Yes, please. I'd be back ages ago, only I met Mr. Singh. You know him, the old man in number 5. He was in a chatty mood. He told me they're selling dustbins in Wood Green Shopping Centre with a sign above them saying Foxproof. He's just bought one. What does Foxproof mean? There is a special locking mechanism, apparently. He says the Fox. Did you get cake? Not just cake. He shakes a packet of Clarnico iced caramels in front of her. Great. I'll be like a mountain after the baby's born. But what the hell? She can't wait to get her teeth into a pink iced caramel. As she chews, she wonders if this means the baby will be a girl. She's always wanted a little baby, though not quite like this. Everything happens so fast. I think it's not a false alarm this time, says Marilyn. Brendan times the contractions, rings the home birth team, and fills the birthing pool at a record-breaking speed with the new improved hose he bought earlier. Marilyn's waters break in the birthing pool. She can't bear to stay in it a second longer. The midwife from Derry arrives to run the show and chats to Brendan about their favourite pubs in Maharafelt while he covers the carpet with the toweling material he's bought. You're doing great, Marilyn, says the midwife. Wonderful. You're 5 centimetres dilated already. The midwife from China arrives to administer rescue remedy and tiny homeopathic tablets to everyone, especially Brendan. The midwife from Derry thinks Brendan should have some brandy as well, so he does. Marilyn walks naked in a cowboy mode around the room. She stops and groans sometimes and seems unaware of company. I'll sing, Brendan says. He begins to sing I'm Coming Out by Pink, but his voice is badly off key. Shut up, screams Marilyn, and she shrieks for the tens machine, but soon she's too busy to bother with it. She holds Brendan's hand until he moans. The midwife from Derry tells Brendan he should have a break, so he leaves the room to gulp more brandy in the kitchen, but he's back within minutes. Marilyn is hanging off the radiator in the front room. Then she's half lying, half squatting on the floor. We've got to shout this baby out, says the midwife from Derry to the midwife from China. Brendan, you support her on this side. Ling, hold her on the other. I'll stay in front. All 4 of them shout and count and breathe and yell, push, when the midwife from Derry says, now. Marilyn shouts loudest, and the baby comes out. There is an enormous and blessed silence. Brendan holds the baby for a moment before the midwife from Derry lays the child on Marilyn's breast. Marilyn looks at her baby and astounds herself by falling into a new kind of love. The baby makes its first mewling cry, and somebody remembers to ask what sex it is. Then the midwife from Derry tends to Marilyn and gives her an injection so the placenta will come out faster. And the midwife from China checks the baby. It's a boy. And the placenta comes out and Marilyn yelps while the midwife from China stitches her up. And the midwife from Derry says, you won't remember half of this, you know. And Brendan says, I will. I'll never forget it. You were wonderful, Marilyn. You were amazing. You were mighty. You were an Amazon. I love you so much. It's 10 hours since the baby was born. Marilyn lies back, eyes closed, determined to relax. What is it again? The corpse pose, Sumatra, something like that. The painkillers are beginning to wear off. Her stitches feel itchy and uncomfortable. A dog barks. Oh God, she groans quietly. Shut up. More high-pitched whining and some clanking and banging noises out back. The sound of something falling. Brendan cursing. The baby in the Moses basket beside her begins to cry. Marilyn wants to cry too. What on earth is she going to do? This tiny scrap of a thing needs a decent mother, one that knows how to breastfeed, one that knows who the father is. Terrible noises out back. Is that Brendan roaring? More whines and clattering sounds. She picks up the crying baby as if he's a Ming vase, careful to support his neck. She does everything in slow motion. Oh, my poor sweet thing, she says. The baby stops crying and looks up at her with blind newborn eyes. She walks around the room with the child, talking gently. What's wrong with you? Why don't you go to sleep like a good little boy? She carries the baby downstairs. It's painful to walk. As she enters the kitchen, she feels a cool breeze. The back door is open and rain is pouring down outside. Before she has a chance to close it, Brendan comes stalking in. He looks like a wild man, wet and sweaty at the same time. The knees of his jeans and the front of his sweater are muddy, as if he's been dragged through a swamp. Jesus, he says. He's holding her biggest cooking pot. The fucking foxes knocked over the dustbin, and one of them tried to make off with the placenta. What? Brendan kicks the back door shut. It's okay. I got it back. He holds out the cooking pot. It's filled with a huge fleshy thing that looks rank. Ugh, that's disgusting. Nah, it's just natural. Don't worry, I'll give it a rinse. The thing is, oh God, why did you? Well, you were wrecked after giving birth, so I didn't want to bother you. The midwife said some people like to bury the placenta in the garden and plant a tree. Crikey, was all that inside me? Yeah, so anyway, I wrapped it in a few bin bags and I put it in the dustbin before the midwife left. I was a bit dazed myself, so I figured it would be all right there for a while. And, well, just now I heard the bin go over, so I ran out. There was a whole gang of foxes out there, and one of them had the bag in his mouth. What? So I had to grapple with the fucker. Jeez, was I scared or what? I looked him in the eye, and I swear to God he wanted that placenta as much as I did. We knocked over your garden bench, but it's okay. I can fix that. Anyway, the rubbish bags tore and the placenta fell on the ground. So I had to grab it before he had a chance to run off with it. It's grand though. There's only a couple of bite marks. I don't even want the thing, she says. I can't bear to look at it. It's so revolting. Marilyn sees disappointment in his face. Are you okay? She adds. Grand. One of the foxes isn't so good though. Why? I knocked him out. He's stretched out flat in the grass at the moment. I might have to call a vet. He beams at her as she shakes with laughter. No way was I letting some thieving fox go off with your placenta, kid. Grins at the baby. Oh, my stitches. She says she's on the verge of wetting herself and it hurts to laugh, so she stops. Gosh, she says, you Tarzan, me Jane. All part of the service. She stares at Brendan. There's a tough, lean, wild determination about him now. She looks down at the baby in her arms to see if there is a resemblance. But the baby's just a small alien with a strange conical head. There's only a tiny bit of hair on it and it's red like hers. He's a little red fox. But the mouth, surely that's Brendan's upper lip. You know, she says, we have to arrange a paternity test as soon as we can. I know that. I don't want to talk about it though. Not till I have to. In the silence that follows, Marilyn remembers the moment after giving birth, when Brendan said he loved her. She thinks how easy, how nice, How convenient it would be if she could just tell him that she loves him too. She realizes that's what she wants to say. Marilyn looks through the back window. The rain has stopped now, and the sun is setting in an orange-red glow behind the row of houses in the street behind hers. The sky is dark, almost purple, and she can barely see the shadows of the rooftops. No stars can be seen, but she makes a wish anyhow. Brendan, she says, thank you for being so good to me. I can't think how you've put up with all this. It's been difficult, says Brendan. But you didn't lie, Marilyn. You're honest and brave. Marilyn feels weak and teary. You're brave too. Brendan takes off his muddy sweater and throws it on the floor before putting his arms gently around Marilyn and the baby. So, he says, what are we going to call the baby? Marilyn closes her eyes and relaxes. And when she opens them again, she sees a fox walking wearily across the garden, disappearing into the night. Thank you for listening. I hope you all keep safe and well. Love to my mum who's out of hospital. Happy birthday to my brother. Thanks to Simon and Roz for setting up the cell.